Alright, so hello everybody, how are you all doing? I hope you're all having a great day. So today's video might be a little bit different. If I get a bit more stuff or buy something new for my setup, I will let you guys know. But today's video is all about getting a membrane keyboard like this, why you might consider it, and what are some of the reasons, like for me, for possibly switching to something like this in the first place. So I do have actually some notes written up, because like what I am actually, for my reasons for switching actually from a mechanical keyboard to a regular, you know, to a somewhat of a regular membrane style keyboard. This one which I have, this mechanical keyboard, this bright shiny one, is from Trust. It's the Trust Kada 890 GXT, and it's a Cherry MX Red mechanical keyboard. It has these super nice clicky switches. You can see, or hopefully hear, it's a really nice keyboard, but I do have some gripes with mechanical keyboards in general, and I wanted to make this video to pretty much show you guys why it's in some cases even not like feasible to get something like a mechanical keyboard in the first place. So before we start unpacking this, let me go over some of the advantages of getting a membrane keyboard compared to a mechanical one. First one should be obvious from as you could hear. I'm not even hitting it that hard, I'm just pressing it down. You can hear it. That's the problem with this keyboard. It's fairly loud compared to a standard membrane keyboard. It's not really portable. This one is actually quite heavy. I had to transport this one multiple times actually lately, you know, for testing different PCs and such and different equipment, and it's quite a heavy little boy. If you're wondering how I'm even recording this, I'm using my phone as a makeshift camera directly on my lamp. So if you want to support me, possibly help get better equipment for higher quality videos, let me know. It will be great and appreciated. So onto the specifications of the keyboard I was using. Well, actually more on the reasons actually. So I already mentioned 2 points. The first one being it's not as loud as a mechanical keyboard. Second one being they are more portable because they're much lighter. Well, this one is definitely lighter, like much lighter even in its box. And also you don't need any DIY skills. So one of the major things with mechanical keyboards, well, this one was like it came like this out of the box. So this effect, I had this one out of the box. You can change the effects around actually if that's what you're up to, but I personally don't even bother switching it. Like, you can even switch the way it goes. So again, it's up to you. If you're into this thing, you can buy a mechanical keyboard just for the customizations, but for me a keyboard is somewhat important, and I want it to be a bit more quiet compared to my regular typing. You can actually even hear my keyboard in some of my other videos which I recorded back then. So another thing, in terms of the price, it's much cheaper. Like this one is around what, a 10th or an 8th of the price. I think that's about right, but it's much cheaper than this mechanical keyboard. Another thing, since I covered some of the, you know, better things, also one more thing I should mention, in terms of typing, I was using membrane keyboards for the better part of my life, so I know what I'm getting into. And I had this mechanical keyboard for about 2 years now. It will actually be 2 years real soon. And here's one of the gripes that I have. Well, it's actually been about a year. So I had enough time to experience this keyboard. And to tell you the truth, there's not much difference between the typing on a mechanical keyboard and a membrane keyboard. The reason being you're typing, and like, to be frank with you, typing is all about like the way you type. Like, you can open up like a text editor here and just start typing literally anything what I want. So I can just like, you know, for sound comparison, listen. You can definitely hear that, and it's much louder, and it is quite nice to type on, don't get me wrong. I definitely typed like literally hundreds of lines of code on this, and made a lot of tutorials and used it with a ton of keyboard shortcuts, which is really amazing. I actually plan on getting a secondary cheaper keyboard, but possibly like this one, but it will be a full macro keyboard. I plan on making a full macro keyboard, preferably of this size, so I might order another one of these. But onto the specifications of this, but also this one, this mechanical boy, it runs out of USB, actually USB 2.0. So if you were wondering if there is a bigger difference, there is almost not such a big of a difference. This model I have is with the USB 2.0. I believe that's USB 2.0. I might be wrong on this one. Let me just quickly check the specifications. It only says that it's USB, it doesn't even say which ones. Also, I forgot to mention, even though this keyboard has a pulling rate of 1000 Hz, you're not even gonna use it. With such a high pulling rate, you need special drivers for it on the Windows, and since I'm not even using Windows, I'm not able to take advantage of it. But it also has like rubber feet, so it doesn't move around your desk, which is really nice. But that's beside the point. Also RGB, if you couldn't tell. Each individual key actually can have a... you can also program macros on this, but since I'm using Linux, I can turn pretty much any keyboard into a macro keyboard without having to, you know, resort to different pieces of hardware. Kind of like Terran had to do from Linus Tech Tips, you know, buying like these small daughter boards which can make your keyboard interface like a macro keyboard, and then you have to install special software. I'm rambling now. So yeah, so onto the disadvantages then. So since I have so much experience with membrane keyboards, one of the major disadvantages is cleaning. Now this can vary from person to person on varying levels of expertise. When it comes to cleaning, since this doesn't have removable keycaps, because these bad boys are actually concave keycaps, they are really a pain in the butt to remove. So that's that. In terms of the dimensions, this keyboard is, I mean, you can even see it compared to like my regular keyboard. I can move this one. So this is my regular keyboard, doesn't even fit on the video, but like you can tell that it's like literally almost cut in half in terms of the size. And since my desk space is not that crowded, but it will definitely be a benefit for me to have more desk space for videos like this. Apparently the OS compatibility is with Windows, but what a lot of these manufacturers don't mention is in fact that a lot of keyboards nowadays, even older ones, are supported under Linux. Now, my setup rocks Manjaro Linux, so it might be different for each and every one of you in terms of support, but generally if you have a standard keyboard like this one, it should work just fine. Another disadvantage, there is key rollover. What does that mean? So key rollover is pretty much a situation during which the keyboard or the OS cannot even tell if you pressed the key or not. Like you might feel the key that you've pressed it if you're typing really fast, but it may not even be registered, so you have to press it again, which is one of the like least problems I have with this. My typing speed isn't that fast anyway, but it is fairly decent, but it's not as fast as the majority people have, but it is good enough for me. In terms of also latency, I mentioned that this mechanical keyboard has a 1000 Hz pulling rate, which means that in theory you should be able to get up to 1 millisecond of latency on that mechanical keyboard. Let me tell you something, if you're not gaming and just writing code or editing videos like I am, you won't even notice a difference. Like I can use this keyboard just fine, I can already tell, because I had experience with membrane keyboards. One bottom line then to mention, it really depends on your preference. All I was talking about was from my personal experience. So let's go on then with the unboxing. So you can see this is a standard keyboard like box. So what you have here is you have these like marketing things, like that it has it's the simplest ever plug and play, slim fashion, one finger carry weight, which I mean, if I can, yeah, I can confirm that, but oops, I accidentally bumped into my camera. Here we go. I can confirm that it's not that heavy. It's certainly less heavy than this. I can barely lift this keyboard with one finger. This one I can generally like lift it up like no problem, even with its box. Steady durability. It's been born with high intensity users. So apparently, if you are a really heavy typist, you should get a lot of use out of this, at least according to the box. And it has, oh, this is nice, a smooth touch. Quiet typing. I like how it's referenced here, but it's almost nowhere on the product page. I'm serious, it's nowhere on the products page mentioned. It only mentions that it has Windows support, that it has been created with durability, rugged, and touch keycap design, but there is nothing in terms of the sound. There is nothing on the page. I'm currently looking at it. There's nothing. If you're wondering what's on the sides, it just says the brand and type which one it is, and the same goes for the other side, so which type it is and by who it's made. The same goes at the top of the box. You can see just a red line with the, whoops, should probably turn this around, with the lettering, so nothing special here. On the front we already seen it, and what's on the back. So on the back you can actually have a better look at the keyboard itself right here, along with which lightweight design it has, stylish keycaps that it has, and some other things. For example, it says a stylish mini keyboard for great all-in-one PC. Great for all-in-one PC, compact size for space saving, which was one of the major things for me, one of the major reasons why I bought this thing in the first place. System requirements: IBM/Pentium PC compatible or higher. Oh my god, that's super old. Supports Windows, available USB port, and package content is just the keyboard itself, which is not surprising. You also have this QR code which you can scan and will point you to the product's web page most likely. Not really sure about that one though. Let's go into opening this bad boy. So if you want to open it, there's a little pulley tab up here. You can just there we go. You just, oh, it like folds out, okay, and then it opens up like that. Okay, good. So it opens up like that, and here's the keyboard itself. We'll go into that in a moment, and then there is this, and that's all in the box. So I'm gonna put this box away, and here we have the keyboard itself. It's in this nice wrapped paper style thing. As you can see, it's in fact USB, I think that's 1.0 or 2, no, that's 2.0 or 1.0, not really sure. I know it's actually 1.0, holy crap. So this is USB 1.0, in a USB 1.0 interface. So not the fastest, but again, we're just sending keys or key codes specifically into our OS, so that's more than enough. It has these sort of cable management things, which my brother absolutely loves. There we go. And then we have this fairly long cable. It's actually 1.5 meters in length, and it's actually longer than I anticipated. I guess my spatial awareness isn't that great. And then we have this keyboard itself, so we can just put it up its sleeve. It's like the cheapest kind of a sleeve you can possibly have on a keyboard to protect it. I actually had a Genius tablet and it had the same kind of packaging. So here is the keyboard itself. So this is the unit itself. As you can see, compared to my regular keyboard, it's like much smaller, which will make a difference in my environment and how I work. So what we have here is pretty much a standard looking unit, but first let's have a look at around the unit, how it looks. So in front you have your standard Genius logo and all of your keys. Here's the escape key, here are the F1 to F12 keys, and here are your numlock, print screen and scroll lock keys, and here's your pause and break, and then here are your standard page navigation keys like home, page up, page down, and then you have your end, insert and delete keys in this following order as I set them. Around the arrow keys, which is a bit of a different choice of the layout. Not sure what that's about, but I've seen a lot of keyboards of a smaller size like this where they do in fact do it like this to save on space and materials apparently. When you compare to your standard keyboard, you would normally have them up here in this section above the arrow keys. Then you have your menu key, which is really useful in some applications if implemented correctly. Then you have your two Windows keys, which is actually more useful than you think. Then you have your Alt key, then you have your pipe key or your backslash key, depending on what layout you choose. And then your Alt, your Windows key again, followed by Control. Here's your Shift, Caps Lock, and a really small tab key. Here's the tilde key, and here are all the numbers with various symbols. And here are some other symbols laid out on the rest of the keys, which you can configure based on what you need. If we flip around the device or the thing, you'll notice that you have these really small feet that can elevate the keyboard somewhat, which is fine. You have two of these actually, so that's really cool. Then you have your standard, stuff that's rated for DC 5 volts, so direct current. Instead of alternating, then 100 milliamps, which is actually really useful if you have like a Raspberry Pi, which I don't know where I put, but I do have one, so it's really useful for me, which was actually another reason I wanted to get this one. And it's by the Kaiyi System Corporation, which make apparently fairly good membrane keyboards, so I'm expecting this one to be a bit more quality. So yeah, there's also like, I already did a bit of sound testing and a bit of a typing test while you saw that cut, and I must say, like, it's unplugged now, but I'll definitely replace this one. It's much quieter. At first it may not seem like much, but the more you use the keyboard, the more worn out it is, and it's not as stiff, therefore not being so loud, which is really important for me as someone who types quite a lot on their computer. So yeah, if you want to get this one yourself, you can search them online, you can buy them fairly cheaply. I bought this one really cheap at a bit of a smaller sale, and I think it's a really good investment, especially for my use case. I can definitely see myself using this keyboard a lot more. One more thing, the feet aren't rubberized, so your keyboard will slide around your table, so that's something you may want to consider while buying this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There was my review of the Genius LuxeMate 100. Again, it's a really cheap keyboard. The cable isn't really anything special, so yeah, I'm gonna replace my keyboards now. Thank all of you for watching. If you wanna see more of these unboxing style videos, or wanna mention something or send me something that you want me to cover, just let me know. And yeah, I'm gonna go edit this video. A lot of outtakes. So yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the next video.